Pardon the interruption, but I'm Mike Wilbon. It's National Prom Day, Tony. Do you even remember your prom?
I'm Tony Kornheiser. I stayed home. Eleanor Roosevelt turned me down. I had no date. What could I do?
I mean, it's the 1st of April. What prom? Is that an April Fool's joke a day early? I mean, my prom was like May 7th or May 10th. Something like that.
Yes. It's actually March 31st. Do you remember who you went to the prom with? Did you have a prom at your school?
Yes, Marguerite Martin. Dear friend, all these years later. All these years.
All right. I went with Jill Rosenberg. Lost touch with her. Have no idea what she's doing. If she's watching, hi. Welcome to PTI, boys and girls. In today's episode, UConn and USC played for the women's Final Four. The Yankees bulk up their bats, and an NBA scuffle leads to 7 ejections. But we begin today with the NCAA men's tournament, where all 4 number 1 seeds made the Final Four for only the second time ever. Auburn and Florida out of the SEC, Duke out of the ACC, and Houston out of the Big 12. Wilbon, you've been skeptical all year of the ACC and of Duke. Have all your questions been answered?
I think so, Tony. I mean, it'd be hard to not have them answered. You make the Final Four. The definition of success in college basketball, you know, unless you're UCLA, maybe Duke, North Carolina, is to get to the Final Four. And even for those schools, the start of the success is to reach the Final Four. And they've done that, even the Blue Bloods. And so, yes, the SEC, which Jay Billis told us on day one, like going back to Halloween, was going to be as good a conference as we've ever seen. He's right. He's right. And I know Jay wasn't the only one. He was our expert. But my goodness, how can you be skeptical after what they did, after getting, you know, half the Sweet 16 and then bombarding the Elite 8 and now 2? It's not Big East 1985, but it's damn good. And Duke, Tony, I think Duke is getting better now, like in the tournament. And that's the definition of greatness. And so I went into this, as you know, I would call you and say, okay, let's see what they got. They got plenty.
Yeah, I join you with a shout out to Jay Billis, who had all 4 number 1s on his bracket.
Yes.
Who told us the SEC was by far the best conference. 7 in the Sweet 16, 4 in the Elite 8, and every single region had a finalist from the SEC, which had never been done before. And I join you about Duke, because I will tell you the most impressive thing that I have seen in the entire tournament so far is Duke holding Alabama to 65 points. Alabama against BYU, the previous game had 113 points. So that's minus 48 right there. In the previous game against BYU, Alabama shot 51 threes and made 25. Never happened before. Nobody shot that many. Nobody ever made that many. Against Duke, 8 for 32. That's minus 51 just on threes. And that's because Duke plays defense, and Duke's the tallest team in the country. And that kid Mark Sears, right, who's so good for Alabama, who had like 32 or 34 against BYU and 10 threes. He had 6 against Duke, 6 points and 1 3. So can they beat Houston? I don't know. Houston's really good. Houston's better defensively than Duke is. They will go out and guard you. That is a game I want to see. I want to see Florida and Auburn, but I worry about Janai Broome. Can he play? Because if he can't play, Mike, he's the best player they got, and that hurts them a lot. Yeah, it hurts them a lot.
Tony, I'm glad you mentioned Houston before we get out of this segment, because their defense, Kelvin Sampson's defense against Michigan State,
it's the best.
I mean, they just don't allow anything. They didn't allow them anything. And so they dominated. They smothered them.
They did.
But again, to answer the initial question, to start this show, the SEC, yes. Duke, yes. And it continues.
Yeah.
It does.
All right, let's go to the NCAA women's tournament. They have 2 Final Four teams in already. They're both number 1 seeds, defending champion South Carolina and UCLA. Tonight, TCU plays Texas for the 3rd spot in the Final Four. And the marquee matchup is UConn against USC. USC without Juju Watkins. Wilbon, you are knee-deep in the women's tournament. Would UConn or USC making the Final Four be the better story?
I'm not going to try to judge that because they'd both be great stories.
Well, that's the question.
UConn is UConn, and they're coming off of having, I guess, arguably the 2 best players, certainly the best player. Paige Beckers has missed a recent tournament with a knee injury. AZ Fudd missed a tournament with a knee injury. and they are coming back, and they are storming back. And the most significant game they played in the regular season, they just beat down South Carolina. And a lot of folks would like to see that rematch, and so that's a great story. If Southern Cal, without their best player, come on now, without Juju Watkins, if they are able to win 2 games without her and get to the Final Four, and look, Tony, they can do it. Kiki Iriafen, she's tremendous as a transfer from Stanford. I'm not saying she can take up all the slack, but that would be a great story. And I'm not going to say either one of those teams would be a lesser story. People will have to make way for both.
Okay, so this question asked me to put on my newspaper sports writer hat, and I will do that. And I will agree with you that if USC were to get there without Juju Watkins, that is a terrific story because it validates the coaching, it validates the other players, it says they are not a one-man team, when in fact, Juju Watkins to USC is sort of like LeBron James to the Lakers. But my question is this, looking forward, could they win 2 more games without her? I don't think so, which is why if I have to choose, I think UConn going to the Final Four is a better story because Paige Becker's going to play. All right? Juju Watkins is not going to play. Paige Becker's got 40 in the last game. And if Juju Watkins isn't in the picture, there's no question that Paige Beckers is the best player in women's college basketball. So you get her and you get Gino. Remember last year when Gino was hinting he was going to retire? How's that working out? He just went 34-3. Now, one of those 3, Mike, is against USC, one of the losses, but it's with Juju Watkins. I just sort of feel that you want your healthiest teams in the Final Four. It's how I feel about Auburn if Janai Broome can't play. Because I don't think you can win 2 more games at this level. I want the healthiest.
I want the best team. I want the team that earns it. I don't care about distinctions at this point. If you can go out there and you are Southern Cal and you can say, okay, next woman up, and you can go out there and you can be UConn, I'm sorry. That is the biggest story of the tournament if Southern Cal is able to do that. And now to Fat Bats being made notorious by the Yankees. The Yanks hit 9 home runs Saturday, 4 more yesterday, with quite a few of them swinging a new kind of lumber nicknamed the torpedo bat. The sticks feature more girth at the sweet spot and hence more barrel with which to hit the ball, right around there. Baseball says it doesn't have a problem with these bats, Tony. Do you?
So the most important question to me is, are these bats legal? I had Mark Feinsand on my podcast today. He appeared after you appeared this morning from MLB.com, and he assures me that these are legal. So if they're legal, then I am good. Yeah, I'm good with that. This is going to make you happy because I know how much you hate analytics. This whole concept of this bat came out of an analytical study about where to hit on the bat. Where's the best place to get the bat on the ball? And a lot of people found out that the sweet spot wasn't exactly where they thought it would be. It was a little bit further down the barrel. The Yankees invent this bat, and if I'm not mistaken, they have 15 home runs in the first 3 games. Everybody's going to want a piece of this bat now, and not everybody uses it. Aaron Judge doesn't use it. Why should he use it? He's happy hitting 62 home runs, with the bat he's got. But, Mike, I am hoping that whoever invented this bat has a patent on it because this guy's going to be a billionaire.
Tony, well, I don't know. Is the aluminum bat inventor a billionaire? I mean, they never got to.
No, that's illegal.
Beyond.
That's illegal in the majors. It's illegal.
Okay. We don't know how long this bat may be around. People may decide something else. The competition committee. The NFL is not the only sport that has a competition committee. But let me just say.
So you think this is the tush push? You think there's the tush push and it'll be controversial and people want to ban it?
Tony, if the Yankees continue to score 10 runs every week, every day, it's not the NFL every day, then it might be good. Fair question, though. I hear you. But, Tony, here's the thing. Look, you and I played a lot of baseball, watched a lot of baseball, covered a lot of baseball. What happens to the end of the bat hits? I mean, it seems like so many even great players, even Tony Gwynn, you don't square it up every at-bat, every hit, every safe at-bat. you've got to have some hits off the bottom of the bat, off the end of the bat. I don't know.
I'm sure.
You know, this is like Monjuro or one of these drugs that there's so little time to study that you don't have complete information yet.
It's like going to a golf place to get new clubs, and you hit a ball into the simulator, you know, and they do the same thing with the TrackMan, and boom, you got new clubs. You can get a new bat. I would point this out. The Brewers gave up 10 today. Brewers have given up like 3,000 runs already. Maybe they stink. Maybe it's not the bat.
Maybe.
Let's take a break.
They stink.
Coming up, how big a deal was the dust-up between the Pistons and the Wolves?
Rafael Devers may need a bigger bat himself to get out of the slump he's in. It's deep.
You're right about the weight loss drugs, that there may be a downside. Giancarlo Stanton thinks that this bat contributed to his injury. Well, if that's the case, you're not going to use the bat.
That's right.
We don't know. It's too... Time to give the pros a role in mail time. That's a good line. I wish I'd written it. Let me see what's first. Let me get this. The dust-up between the Pistons and Wolves. Big deal, little deal, no deal.
Very little, Tony, because, you know, people are using the word brawl on every show, every channel, and it wasn't a brawl because there are no punches thrown because guys would have been suspended for a much longer time. It's a skirmish. They're wrestling pretty good. A brawl is what NHL players do, particularly people apparently named Kachuk, and that a lot of people on the air applaud and laud. That is not what happened here. There's still going to be some small suspensions. It's not that big a deal. If punches have been thrown and people had to be thrown out for 5 or 6 games, given that we're at the end of the season with fewer than 10 coming into the play-in, that would have been a big deal. DiVincenzo, they got to get him under control because they need him in Minnesota, and he was in the thick of that. I like Isaiah Stewart's new nickname in Detroit, Beef Stew. He's a tough guy in the old bad boy Pistons image, but in all, it's a very little deal.
Yeah, if I have to pick, I'm going to say it's no deal. I suspect it's no deal because these are teams from different conferences that are not going to play each other anymore this season. And when this rolls around next year, I just think it'll be mostly forgotten. Half the people who were in this thing are going to be on different teams next year anyway. I have no real idea what happened. But when I watched the replay, what stood out to me was there are more assistant coaches than there are players on these teams.
Yeah.
It looked like an ant colony milling around out there. Again, I mean, I don't really know what it's about. I know that Minnesota was losing when this happened, and I know that they won the game by 19. Whether there's cause and effect, I have no idea. But if you want to use the word brawl or fight or dust-up or skirmish, I do know this, that in every sport, every day, somewhere, there's one of these things, and they usually get resolved. They usually get resolved. So
almost always.
I don't want to go crazy. Yeah.
More mail?
What's next here?
No overreaction on this show.
Bigger deal from the Red Sox-Rangers series. Jacob deGrom's success or Rafael Devers' lack of it?
All right, I'm going to match you by going to the glasses, going to the readers. Jacob deGrom, Tony, you know, he's on a 5-year deal, still fairly early in it for $185 million. But he had Tommy John, and he missed 23 and most of 24, and then he's back out there today, goes 5 innings, 2 hits, no earned, 6 Ks, while Rafael Devers, who we've been talking about all spring, it seems, he goes 0 for his first 19 with 15 strikeouts. But that's not a bigger deal because they can win without him, right? They've won without him. The Rangers are not going to win without deGrom. So deGrom coming back like this,
they won without
and going 5 innings, and then he's going to go more innings in the next game. Apparently, they're going to try to creep him up.
Am I crazy? I thought they won a World Series without him. Am I nuts on that? Somebody get in my ear. He wasn't there on the World Series team,
last year, he wasn't a factor at all, and they struggled. They're not going to win without him. They got to have him.
I am happy for Jacob deGrom. This is his second Tommy John surgery. He just went 5 innings, gave up 2 hits, no walks, no earned runs, and struck out 6. And then he did what Verlander talks about, 5 and fly. Good for him. That does not compare, in my mind, to the start that Rafael Devers has had. As you said, 0 for 19 to start with 15 strikeouts. No one in the history of baseball has opened up a season with those kinds of numbers, with that amount of strikeouts. And I know he has said, Mike, it has nothing to do with Alex Bregman taking his position at third for the Red Sox and he moves to DH. Maybe he's right, but I think there's something there. Mike, I think this is a potential Jimmy Butler situation where a veteran making a lot of money says, I don't want to be here. This is not working out for me.
But Tony,
I got to get out of here.
But keep in mind, he had shoulder problems, okay? He comes into spring training. He barely takes at bats at all. I mean, he's just taking BP. He's so he wasn't ready to play, it appears. So you know what? We're going to find out tomorrow. They're going to put him on the injured list. They're going to put him on what we used to call the DL.
That's fine.
And just go from there.
That's fine.
He'll be all right.
Enough email. Let's take one last break. Still to come, Kevin Willard officially flees Maryland. Or flees or fleeces.
And could the brotherly shove get shoved out tomorrow? See what I did there?
Again, Mike, the Rangers won the World Series without DeGrom. He wasn't on that team. They won the World Series 2 years ago.
But it's a different team from 2 years ago. It's different personnel, as you pointed out about the NBA scuffle.
Happy time, people. Happy 85th birthday yesterday, Jerry Lucas. History lesson, kids. Lucas was a tremendous player at Ohio State, leading a Buckeye team that included John Havlicek and Bobby Knight to the national championship in 1960 and another Final Four in his 3 seasons of eligibility. Lucas was the territorial pick of the Cincinnati Royals in 1962. He was Rookie of the Year, a 7-time All-Star, and played on a championship team with the Knicks in 1973, their last one. Lucas averaged 17 points and nearly 16 rebounds per game for his career, playing center and forward. After his playing days ended, Lucas became celebrated as a memory expert and made tons of appearances where he memorized all sorts of random things.
I know how much you love Willis Reed. I know that. But after Willis, where was Lucas on your fave Knicks meter? Where was he?
Oh, no. He was only there for a couple of years. No. His career was mostly done by then. No. It's like Walton with Boston. You know, that's what it was like. Happy anniversary, Purvis Ellison. On this day 39 years ago, the freshman scored 25 points, grabbed 11 rebounds, and hit 2 free throws with 27 seconds left to seal Louisville's national championship win over Duke. He earned the nickname Never Nervous Purvis. Played 4 years at Louisville, was the overall #1 pick in the 1989 draft by Sacramento. But a rash of injuries earned him the nickname Out of Service Purvis, given to him by his Kings teammate Danny Ainge. Ellison had a most improved player year down the road for Washington, but injuries reared up again. In his last 4 NBA seasons in Boston, Ellison played in only 69 games out of a possible 246, Joel Embiid-type numbers.
I remember that NCAA championship game, Tony, and he had like a 20-11 season for the Bullets or Wizards or whoever they were at the time, and we thought he was going to take off and leave them, and he couldn't stay out there, which was too bad. He had some skill.
Yeah, couldn't stay upright long enough. He just couldn't do it. Happy trails to Maryland for Kevin Willard. After days of blundering around it, Willard is leaving College Park to take over at Villanova. When Willard acknowledged the possibility a week and a half ago, if I was still writing a column, I would have written, if you don't like it here, there's the door. Don't let it hit you on the way out. And if I were the chancellor of the University of Maryland, I would have called Kevin Willard up and said, what exactly are you doing? If you don't like it here, get out. What have you ever won? In 1989, Michigan man Bo Schembechler dumped Bill Frieder on the eve of the tournament for agreeing to the Arizona State job. And the Wolverines went on to win the title under Steve Fisher. This fiasco really hurts Maryland, in my mind, both in finding a coach and the perception of their program.
Tony, speaking of DMV coaching news in basketball, got to say goodbye to Gonzaga High School in the district. Their head basketball coach, Steve Turner, who's leaving after 26 or 27 incredibly successful seasons, near and dear to my household. Hate to see him go, but wishing him well.
One error, Houston played great defense yesterday against Tennessee, not Michigan State.
Oh, yeah, the Vols.
They got 15 in the first half. They killed them.
Man.
Let's go to the big finish. The Packers' proposal to ban the tush push reportedly received heated debate at league meetings yesterday. Your thoughts?
Tony, that supposedly goes to a vote tomorrow. I can't see there being enough votes to shove that thing out. I can't see that. The Dodgers pulled Roki Sasaki in the second inning Saturday night after he again struggled with control. Are you concerned?
Yeah, 9 walks in 5 innings. This is Major League Baseball. It's different than in Japan. It's different. Stanford hired Frank Reich as their interim head football coach. Does that make sense to you?
If you're going to have a bridge coach, an interim coach, Frank Reich makes all the sense in the world. Yes. Novak Djokovic lost in the finals of the Miami Open to a 19-year-old Czech player, Jakub Menchik. Is that a significant loss, Tony?
It's more significant if it happens in a major. I don't know how significant it is. Last one, Kevin Durant left last night's loss to the Rockets with a sprained left ankle. Your reaction?
The Suns look done, Tony. And it's hard to see Kevin Durant coming back in the Suns uniform. That might have been his last night in one.
We are out of time. We will try to do better the next time. And I'm Tony Kornheiser.
I'm Mike Wilbon. Same time tomorrow, Knuckleheads. You can get the PTI podcast on the ESPN app or Apple Podcasts. And now, here's sports.
A little bit early. Should have closed right about now.
MLB insider Jeff Passan joining us now with more. Jeff, clearly with more now in tonight's PTI bonus topic.
All right, Wilbon, do you have a bigger issue with the torpedo bats or the tush push?
Tony, I don't have an issue with either one. Do people just have to get up and whine about something every day? The bats are legal. We're told the bats are legal. You had a whole discussion about this on your podcast this morning. If the bats are legal, shut up. And I don't want to hear about, oh, the Yankees are cheating when Aaron Judge, who's already got 4 this season, 3 in one game, they ain't using the torpedo bat. He's not using one, so shut up. The tush push is a bigger problem. It looks like there could be a vote tomorrow. I know that the Packers seem to be leading the effort to get rid of it. I say no. Philadelphia mastered something. Draft some big linemen and stop it. The whining, particularly at the professional sports level, to me seems absurd, Tony. And I don't get it, and I don't have a problem with either. Do you?
Yeah, no, I'm largely with you on this. First of all, we don't know anything about the torpedo bats yet. There's not enough of a sample size for us to figure it out. As you say,
that's right.
The Yankees are doing the best with it so far, but Aaron Judge, the best home run hitter in baseball, he's using his regular bat. He's not using this bat. And it's possible that the Yankees' opponent the first 3 games, the Milwaukee Brewers, are so terrible, their pitching staff is so terrible, that this will not be an issue for the rest of the year for teams, except when the Brewers are pitching against them. We just don't know enough about this bat yet. I am with you on this. If baseball says going into the year it's legal, then it's legal. So learn to deal with it. And I feel pretty much the same way about the tush push. I will say this. The tush push looks to me like something that should not be legal. But the Eagles do it better than everyone else. Other teams try it and they get stopped. So I don't think you should legislate against the Eagles for being better at something than everybody else. I think, like you, go get better coaches and better defensive linemen and stop the thing with the Eagles like you stop it with other teams, right? That's what I think.
Or use it yourself, except you got to find a quarterback who can squat like 600 pounds. Maybe it's tough to find that in the draft.
Yeah.
Either way, that's it. We're done. Back to you.